Hello and welcome back to the second stage of the Major, the Legend stage, and we're doing the pick'ems, of course. Now, in the first stage, we were successful. We got the right amount of picks to get us through. Granted, it did take us the longest route possible up into the last game of the day to confirm that, but we got there nonetheless. And we're going to take some of the learnings from the last stage and the last video, which if you haven't seen, go check it out, and we're going to bring it through to here. Now, in that last one, I explained how this is a game and it's not really my predictions. However, I'm going to change my tune a little bit. I don't think FaZe are going to lose in this stage. Yeah, they have such tenacity that I believe that no one's going to be able to break them down unless they meet up against Navi and they're 3-0, and then it's just going to be unlucky. Navi are going to be my other team, who I think are going to be going on through the 2-0 route. Now, in an ideal world, the seeding would allow them not to meet before the 3-0 spots, but if you've seen the first round matches, the seeding is a pile of wank, and it's good to see that a lot of other people also agree with that take. So we're going to play it a little bit different. We're putting FaZe as our 3-0, so we're going to maximise and have more chances of getting more points from the 7 teams that will advance, as there's a lot of wiggle room in who may or may not go through. The teams have such a level of firepower and caliber, but it's not the highest it's ever been, and so their overall weaknesses that are inherent to their team's mixology, if you would, um, or their flaws are going to counteract each other in ways that's going to make it very difficult to actually have confidence in picking these people, and that was shown in the last stage. Someone like Cloud9 and Vitality, who should have gone through 3-0, 3-1, took it to the last day to get through, yeah, and even then in nail-biting fashion. However, I feel like someone like Vitality will probably get through to the next stage, but I don't have a lot of confidence in them, so I'm going to bring them down there. Cloud9, I don't think are going to make it. Axile, who is meant to be their main rifler, was very, very poor over the 5 games. The 5 games that they played. His best highlight was him jumping out of Mirage window and getting a one-tap mid-air. Yeah, that's not something you should celebrate. That is not good enough. Yeah, Shiro's doing his job. Yeah, Axel needs to be doing the same. I'm not sure if he's got the capacity to carry in the way that he could online. So I won't be picking Cloud9. We've gone a bit off track with the first choices. Moving back, I'm going to have Heroic here. Heroic feel like a squad who could probably just get themselves through this next stage. I think they're a team that is possibly going to be going out in quarterfinals if they get a rough matchup. Yeah, they could probably make a semis here. I don't see them getting further than the semi-finals this event unless things go terribly wrong in this bracket. I just don't think they're good enough, honestly. Another team who I think are probably going to get on through. Yeah, I'm going to pick these teams at the same time because again, these are squads who have inherent flaws to them. Both of them new lineups. NIP have Alexi B, who have come in. He's a new IGL. He came in literally like just before the RMRs started, right? He's switched the team to English now. Yeah, Hampus is doing a kind of blame F switch from IGL and Fragger to becoming more of that forward Fragger. The AWPer of the squad, Rez, is brand new to the role. He's not as good as the top flag of AWPers in the scene, but because he's fresh to the role, there's going to be a lot of uncertainty with his positioning and his plays, which is probably going to help him have a honeymoon period through this next stage. And I think NIP are probably good enough to go through. Again, I have confidence in some of these pieces just to plod along and do their bits, and that's kind of what I'm looking for in this stage. Same with ENTS. I like the different components of the team. It's very new. Sure, they went through 3-0 in their last stage, but they beat 2 teams who weren't amazing, didn't make it to the major, and they beat Big, who I have doubted every step of the way, and they've proved me wrong every step of the way. Good for them, I guess. I'm going to continue doubting them. I'm sticking to my guns. Probably means they're going to go through. So if you're not confident in anything I said at this point, put Big in through your 7 teams in advance. I can't wait to discuss that after this. So yeah, Ents have inherent flaws in the sense that they're a brand new lineup. They're switching up different areas of their focal points of where the fragging is coming from. However, I think they are good enough to get to this stage. They seem like a good quarterfinal team that's going to have a good puncher's chance, but probably will go out in the quarterfinals. Up next, we have 2 slots left. I've picked Vitality, of course, but the squad was really unconvincing in the last stage. Even in the last match, it looked touch and go. Yeah, I mean, you can go look at the scoreboards and you'll see that Zywoo was like the top frag on HOTV and he got 27 kills in the last game. Yeah, where the fuck was he in the first 2 games? Yeah, where was he? Dexter was making him look like piss weak. Making him look piss weak. I say again. It was only in the last game where he came by. Yeah, and thank God he did, otherwise Vitality were out. They were not going to make it. However, they're going to continue leveling up. I think they're another squad who's going to be a really tough quarterfinal matchup. Yeah, if ZywOo can actually keep that same energy from that last game, yeah, and keep performing at a middling ground, they could probably trip up and get through. God, even saying that, I don't feel convinced. I might change that. However, let's look at these next two spots. Now, I've got a big bunch of teams here, no pun intended, who might make it. I love Sprout. I'm not. I think this might be a bit too much for them. I'm gonna have Liquid and Mouse. So these are kind of like my bluff catchers in a sense. Why? Because as I stated at the start of this whole video, there's a lot of uncertainty in the caliber of the teams who you believe should just go through. These are two teams that could capitalize on weaknesses. There are also two teams that could fail miserably because of the inherent weaknesses of their squads. Liquid, Yakinda, and Alige, banging. Not quite on the same page, and they need to be at the top of their game if they want to go through, because their AWPer, OC, is not good enough to consistently compete against world-class talents on the top squads. Yeah, we're talking FaZe, Na'Vi, Vitality. I have more confidence in Rez's ability in this next stage because of the level of uncertainty of how he's going to play. Nitro is still working his way back in. Yeah, he left at the peak of his ability when he moved to Valorant. And I thought that was a good thing because he was just on the way back down. Yeah, and now he's come back and he has some decent fragging, yeah, but the IGLing is still not top tier. Yeah, and I think that will forever keep them on the periphery of the top 5 to top 8. However, fuck around and find out, Liquid will wreck you if you ain't doing good enough. Yeah. Mouse Sports is one of those teams as well. They've got a lot of young talent that could crumble under the pressure if it gets really tight. However, Dexter seems quite comfortable. Dexter, not Dexter. Dexter feels quite comfortable with his calling currently. It is a bit gamble stacky, I've seen. A lot of just 5 men group up, go up banana, walk in. But that can work with young players. You keep it super simple, and they feel confidence in what they're doing. They know what's happening. That could work against some of these squads. It could definitely trip up an Ents, a Nip, a Heroic, yeah? Where you've just got a little death ball approach where your guys run out and, they're young kids just going to frag. Xertion's been pretty decent as well. I think they've got a nice little core there which could just stroll into success. All that's left is the 0-3. It's either BNE or Fnatic for me. Fnatic really struggled. They really struggled. But BNE haven't really beaten anyone good. And this is where they could get tripped up. So I've just clicked off just to check what the first round matches are. BNE have Spirit. That's a bit of a 50-50. I think Spirit are the better team, I should say. But I think it's a 50-50 because it's best of ones. Who have Fnatic got first? Fnatic have NIP. Fnatic could trip NIP up there, and it would wreck both of my openers. And that would be a shame. Other options that we have left? Big and Sprout. That's a tough one to call. Feels like another 50-50, honestly. I could be... I could be very brave. What I could do... I'm thinking of switching everything up at the last second. Okay? Because 1, 2, 3, 4... I think these guys will get through. These are like my bluff catchers, in a sense. Liquid and Mouse. FaZe. No, FaZe aren't moving. My 0-3 is Fnatic. Yes. Why have I picked Fnatic? Brand new IGL. weaker firepower than most of the field. 50-50 opening match against NIP that could just spiral out of control because some of the other opening matches that exist, if they draw a Cloud9, I don't think they're good enough. If they draw a Vitality, I don't think they're good enough at this stage in the major. It could be a real struggle if they get like an Outsiders or a Heroic. There's a lot of teams that I just don't think they're good enough. They could go down to 0-2, and again, if we get another situation where they meet a Cloud9 down there, I think Cloud9 would probably beat them in a best of three as well. That's why I'm putting Fnatic there. What do you think? Tell me, did you follow me last time? Did you get your 5? If you haven't, I'm so sorry. You can still try and get that goal by following me along once more time. Are you going to listen to what I've said this time? Am I an idiot for not putting Big in and not putting BNE in because I doubted them every step of the way? Maybe I should have Outsiders instead of Vitality. Type it all down in the comment section below. I'm happy to interact with you down there. While you're around, if you made it to the end, a like and a subscribe is always useful. We're all praying to that algorithm, we're feeding them inputs. It's like we're sacrificing virgins on the top of a mountain, but instead of virgins, it's likes and subscriptions, and instead of a mountain, it's a mysterious void that we call the internet.